Ohai. Nagoya, the city determined by the decree of the government, the city, the fourth in the number of the population, in Japan. One of the largest ports of Japan and administrative center of the prefecture of the It. Kernel of the economic region Toka. Goods turnover of port of 110 million tons a year. In 2005 Nagoya hosted the World Fair of the Expo. The square of the city makes 326.43 km. The population minus 2,275,171 persons. On June 1, 2014. Population density minus 6,969.86 people/km. Nagoya, the city, the fourth in the number of the population, in Japan after Tokyo, Yokohama and Osaka. Because of the intermediate position between the ancient Japanese capital of Kyoto in the west and the modern capital of Tokyo in the east, it is called sometimes by Tokyo, the median capital. Nagoya is the important commerce and industry center of the country and Tubus region where important transport ways of the western and east Japan are crossed. Since the 17th century the city carried out a role of the center of the historical province of Owari and Tokugawa, relatives of the Japanese shoguns, was the main residence of a side branch of a samurai sort. Emblem of Nagoya, the hieroglyph 8. Concluded in a circle. It is an ancient symbol of a side branch of a sort Tokugawa from the province of Owari, medieval masters of the city. In the Japanese culture, number 8 represents infinity, therefore the emblem symbolizes infinite development and prosperity of Nagoya. The emblem was approved in October 1907. Flag of Nagoya, a panel of white color which parties correspond as 3, 2. In the center of a panel the emblem of the city of red color is placed. Flower symbol of Nagoya, a lily. She was chosen in 1950 among 100 candidate flowers by a large-scale poll of residents. The camphor tree is a tree symbol of Nagoya. It grows in many places of the megalopolis and is the obligatory satellite of the Japanese shrines, in particular at its sanctuaries. The camphor tree was approved by a city symbol in 1972 by a referendum. Geography. Nagoya is located in the central part of the island of Honshu, on Minos Plain in the province of Owari. The south of the city is washed by waters of Ice Bay. The square of Nagoya makes 326.45 km. In Nagoya 2 big rivers directed to the south flow. Seine about the north and Tempaka from the east. Both flow into the Gulf Eyes. Also on the downtown, from the north on the south, waters of the Horikawa Channel, which is dug out at the beginning of the 17th century at the time of construction of the Nagoyski Lock Rush. The relief of Nagoya conditionally is divided into 3 zones. East Hills, Central Plateau and Alluvial Plains of the north, west and south. Enter East Zone the urban areas of Moriyama, Takusa, Meita, Tempaka and Midori. The highest point is Mount Tokasuzen, 198.3 m, located in the northeast. Hills, 50-100 m high above sea level, which are connected to mountains Mikava, are characteristic of this zone. In this area in the 5-13 centuries extracted the quality clay formed by aeration of the mountain Sanaga and manufactured top quality Japanese ceramics. Since the 20th century, east districts of the city were turned into housing and educational massifs. This central area consists of urban areas of the Nak, Higashi, Siva and Mijuko, and also parts of areas mines and Atsuta. Height of the plateau on which it is located is 10-15 m above sea level and smoothly decreases from the north on the south. This plateau is divided into smaller plateaus, Nagoya, Atsuta and Mijuko, thanks to the valleys formed by the Yamazaki, Siads and rivers and others flowing across his territory. And there are also small valleys formed by an erosion of the plateau. This area was populated since late Paleo, and in the 4th-8th centuries there was south side to a laguna at Teia, which is mentioned in the anthology of ancient Japanese poetry, Manjyosu. Till the 18th century in the southern region of Atsuta there were ports, but subsequently coastal zones were recultivated, and the plateau lost an outlet to the sea. Since the 20th century the central area is used under residential and commercial areas. The zone of the north, west and south of Nagoya includes the urban areas of Kita, Nishi, Nakamura, Nakagawa and Minato, and also parts of areas mines and Atsuta. These areas were formed owing to accumulation and alluvia in valleys of the rivers and their mouths. The lowest point of this zone is equal to 1.73 m below sea level. The coastline of the southern and western areas developed thanks to climate changes, decrease in sea level and remediation works. Though the zone tests strong damage from typhoons and floods, it is convenient for an irrigation and cultivation of rice. Therefore during an ancient and medieval era there were manors with the names Adzikise, a manor of cheap food, and Tomitase, a manor of rich fields. Here, from the second half of the 20th century this zone is used under inhabited massifs and the industrial enterprises. Here the city port is placed. The climate of Nagoya is considered moderate, but in the summer the average humidity is more than 70%. That is the city stuffy, and in the winter from the northwest strong cold wind blows, turning the prefecture center on one of the coldest places of the region. In 2006 average air temperature was recorded on a mark 15.9 C, the highest -37.5 C, the lowest 3.7 C. Nagoya is on the way of the typhoons passing the Japanese archipelago. However, from 1980 years their frequency decreased. The most destructive typhoon blew over the city on September 26, 1959, therefore died 1851 persons. History. Settlements in the territory of modern Nagoya existed since late Paleo. At the beginning of the first millennium these areas were rather densely populated. By the 17th century the region of the modern city consisted of several settlements, the largest of which was a town of Atsuta. He arose at the Shinto sanctuary of the same name, the second largest after an imperial shrine in Ise. To the west from this settlement there was a Kubwana port, important transport point on the way from the Japanese capital of Kyoto of the time to east provinces of the country. In 1610 the shogun and the combiner of Japan Tokugawa Ieyasu began capital construction of the Lock Nagoya on the Nagoyski Plateau and finished it in 2 years. The most part of residents of the neighboring settlement of Kiyoshi moved under this lock, having given rise to the Przemkowy settlement which developed in the settlement of Nagoya.
Since then this lock and the settlement became the center of the province of Owari and destiny of Owari hand, the main possession of one of three side branches of Asiagunskis or Tokugawa.
To the middle of the 19th century, Nagoya remained the fourth largest city of Japan after Edo, Osaka and Kyoto. In 1871, as a result of administrative reform of the new government of Meiji, the prefecture Nagoya was formed. She was divided into 6 areas. The district of counties Nagoya and Atsu was first of which. 5 years later the prefecture Nagoya was renamed into the prefecture of the It, and in 2 years the settlement of Nagoya became the independent administrative region. On October 1, 1889 the county Nagoya received the status of the city. By then he occupied the space in 3.34 km on which about 150,700 inhabitants lived.
Since the end of 19 and the first half of the 20th century, thanks to rapid development of world economy, Nagoya turned into the large commerce and industry center of Japan. In 1937 in the city the Pacific Peaceful Exhibition, at which achievements of the Japanese and West Asian economy were presented, was held.
However, during World War II forward development of Nagoya stopped. The city was burned completely with powerful bombings of aircraft of Shah. After war Nagoya was successfully restored. On September 1, 1956 she was enlisted in the list of the cities of the State Value of Japan. In 1957 the city subway, and since 1964 the high-speed train was started. In 1989 the World Fair of Design was held here. Economy: mechanical engineering, metallurgy, chemical, oil processing, textile, light industry. The Central Japanese Commodity Exchange functions. Administratively Nagoya is subdivided into 16 areas. Nakuku, Kifuku, Minamiku, Tunisike, Higasike, Takusake, Nakamuraku, Tumetoke, Nakagawaku, Tumitorike, Moriyamake, Tempakuke, Mijukoke, Etsutake, Minatoke and Siovaku. The mayor Takashi Kawamura. Demography. The age pyramid of the population looks so. 0, 14 years minus 13.1%. 15, 29 years minus 17.6%. 30, 64 years minus 48.3%. Over 65 years minus 20.1%. Birth rate minus 9 people on 1,000. Mortality minus 7.9 people on 1,000. According to official figures, the number of foreigners in Nagoya for the last 10 years increased by 1.5 times. About 720,000 foreigners live in Nagoya. According to 2009, the proportion of number of foreigners in relation to Japanese made 27.5 people on 1,000. In view of the 25 years ago this proportion made 14.7 people, the tendency to increase in number of foreigners in the city is available. From national diasporas in Nagoya, first place by quantity is won by Chinese, the second, Koreans, and the third, Filipinos. The population of the city is made by 2,275,171 persons. On June 1, 2014. And density minus 6,969.86 people/km. Change of population from 1980 to 2005. 1980 2,087,902 man.
1985 2,116,381 men.
1990 2,154,793 man. 1995 2,152,184 man. 2000 2,171,557 man. 2005 2,215,062 man. Education. In Nagoya 21 universities are located. From the most known, the well-known Nagoya State University. Founded in 1939, this university is the largest university not only in the prefecture of the It, but also in all the region of the central Japan. 4 scientists of this university are conferred the Nobel Prize.
Besides, the list of the known universities of Nagoya includes the universities Nanzan and Tokyo.
Also in Nagoya many colleges and general educational institutions are located. Nagoya has the branched city transport system. Besides the subway and city buses, in the city various private railway lines connecting different districts of the city to suburbs function. Nagoya, the large transport hub of Japan. Through Nagoya there passes the high-speed train Shinkansen. Nagoya is connected with other regions of Japan not only railway, but also air traffic. In the city there are 2 airports, the International Airport Chubu and the Nagoya Airport in Komaki. Music. This city is the homeland of Nagoya Kei, one of the most popular directions of the Japanese Fate visual kei. In 2007 in Nagoya the rock group Cold Rain was formed. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.